Welcome to Launch One with Mason Springer. I'm Mason Springer, and today we're joined with Will Alterson. Will and I, we kind of met through Instagram. I think that we were
Yep.
you're the first person I ever met through Instagram. Like, I'm relatively new to that stuff.
hmm
And I know that you are a big hunter. You shoot target stuff. We've met at several target events, and you, your dad, your brother are some pretty cool folks, I think. But what have you been up to lately, Will?
Mainly been hunting. Indoor season is here, and I'm starting to get into that. But all of this fall, I was doing a lot of hunting out west and here in New York. I'm still doing a little bit of hunting here in New York. Season ends January 1st, so I only have a couple more days left, and I'll probably try and shoot a doe or maybe a buck if it comes by. But yeah, mainly indoor season is now the priority, and I'm starting to get into that, getting my bow together, shooting a lot more. I'm shooting 5 arrow ends,
Yeah.
sometimes even 10 arrow ends.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
just getting ready
great.
for that. Super excited about it. I missed indoor season. Sometimes I don't like it though because it gives me target panic. I'm a big 3D guy, but you
Yeah.
know,
Before we get into all the indoor and stuff, like, let's do a recap on, um, like, first of all, we met kind of on Instagram, I think, right? I don't know if I followed you or you followed me. You guys
yeah,
had the TV show, right?
yeah.
Kind of explain that to me because I don't have the full backstory on that.
So we were with a TV show for a really long time, and my brother and we did an internship with them. And then we decided after a little while, after learning a lot of things from them, that we wanted to go off and do our own show. So we created a show on YouTube that we're about to launch our first video actually tomorrow. And it's called Beyond the Chase. We named it after kind of related to Matthew 13:44. It's kind of it's beyond just the chase. It's more of like being in the great outdoors that God's created. But yeah, we created that, and we have a lot of content in the pipeline that we're just getting to editing right now. And we have a lot of kills from this year, which is really awesome. So
Yeah, that is
I guess
great.
we'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. But
Yeah, so, like, let's do, like, what's a quick recap of your season? When did you start hunting this year?
mm, May. I filmed Fred Eichler and his son turkey hunting, and then I went out turkey hunting myself, killed my first public land bird here in New York. And then right after that, we went to Alberta black bear hunting. I went with a recurve that the original owner of Muzzy Broadheads, John Masakia, he got the bow from Fred Bear because they were really good friends way back in the 1960s, 70s. Uh, but yeah, we went out there on the second to last day. I was able to harvest two great black bears within 2 minutes. It was crazy. I was on the phone with my dad, telling him I shot one. It was a little bit low, and then a 315-pound black bear comes in. The other one was about 180 pounds probably, and that big bear comes in, and I hammered it. We have it all on video. My brother, he got some sick footage of that. And then after that, I went out with my good friends, the Terrys, Easton, his brother, and his dad. We went mule deer hunting in Arizona in August. I've never hunted in August, and that was pretty cool. I was able to put down a cool public land velvet mule deer on opening day, and that was really awesome. Easton's brother Brody, he killed one. That was awesome while I was out there. His dad killed one, Tyler, and but yeah, that was a great start to our season for sure, because that fall season at least. And then from there, went out to actually came back to New York, and I was able to kill a black bear here, 150-pound boar, and that was pretty awesome. It's so hard to hunt them here compared to like Alberta because you can't bait here. Like hunting bear over bait is way easier than like hunting the giant oak flats that we have here because they can pop out anywhere. But he gave me a great shot, like I think it was 15 yards, and that was awesome. And then from there, did a lot of shooting. That was like early September, September 15th or 16th, I believe. And then from there, we went to Colorado. Colorado was a blast. I tagged out opening, well, not opening day. I shouldn't say that, but our first day there, first full day there, I tagged out. We were just walking through the woods. My brother James, we had mule deer tags too, muzzleloader mule deer tags. And we kind of just went walking through the woods with our buddy Ethan. He was filming, and a bull bugled 200 yards to our right. And we're like, oh, dang, he's coming up from that water hole. So we set up, I cow called. He was actually with like 3 or 4 cows, and he came into about 60 yards. I put a perfect shot on him. He went down like 10 yards and then did like a back roll, broke his antler, which I still have to fix. I have the Euro mount on the wall, and I still have to fix that. But he broke off his left third, I believe. But yeah, that was really awesome. And then came back to New York, did a lot of hunting. We were just in Oklahoma this past December. Well, I guess this December. And my brother James, he was able to shoot one there. Trying to think of anything else. Just a bunch of does here in the fall, October and November here in New York.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah,
like you've had quite the year.
for sure. For sure, for sure.
Yeah. So back to the turkey hunt you said you went on this spring. What state was that in?
That was here in New York. That was like 10 minutes from our house right here.
Okay. And what part of New York are you from?
So I'm originally from Long Island, but we moved up to the Catskills 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. So probably you like it up there better?
For sure, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the country up there, is it like hills, big woods? Is there any ag? Like what's it like for turkey hunting?
You know, it's big pine forests, some oak flats and stuff like that. There are a lot of oak flats in certain places on like the south facing slopes and whatnot, but a lot of pines, uh, big hills, kind of small mountains, I guess. We have some big ski mountains around us, but yeah.
Okay. So
When you think of New York, you don't think of where we live, you know? Like anytime I go out of state, I'm like, yeah, I'm from New York, and people are like, ooh, you're city slicker. No, no,
yeah, just
I'm
the
from the
opposite.
mountains. Yeah, or I live in the mountains rather.
Yeah, actually, I went to a competition for forestry out in Massachusetts, and we drove through upstate New York, and
Hmm.
I remember driving through some like little towns, and they were really old. Out east, where you guys are, everything seems a lot older than it is in Ohio, because I guess historically, people have lived out in New York for many more years than they have in Ohio, because of
Yeah,
the
for sure.
colonies and all that. But yeah, I know there's some really old, cool towns like down in canyons and stuff that we drove through, and I just thought that was really cool. But yeah, that's nice country out there.
Yeah, it really is. I really like it out here.
So, how do your turkey hunts typically go? Are you running and gunning? Are you sitting in a blind?
I'm mainly running and gunning. I really wanted to kill one with a decapitating broadhead this year, but I never really got the opportunity. I had everything set up to, but nothing compares to like running and gunning with a shotgun and getting it done that way. It was pretty cool. We were driving around, decided to call on some public, sat there for about 20 minutes, and a bird hammered off across the road. So we moved a little bit, repositioned, and I was able to call him across the road to about 30 yards and blasted him.
Sweet. Yeah, that's great. That's always fun when they actually come into your calls like that.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so awesome. I love turkey hunting. I
Yeah.
love turkey. Yeah.
I think out east turkey hunting is the closest thing you can get to elk hunting or, big game
I
hunting, I think,
agree. I
outside
agree.
out
Yep,
west.
for sure.
Yeah, I started off running a gun and with one of my dad's buddies, Scott and John. We would go out to the national forest, and of course, there you can just walk for miles all day, and
Yeah.
you find one bird, and you sit there and you hunt them. You're up against a tree doing whatever, and you mess it up. You can just walk down the ridge and find another bird.
Yep,
So there's plenty of room to walk around and learn is a big thing. I think that turkey hunting is like really great practice for, just your woodsmanship in general. Would you agree?
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. For sure.
Yeah. So how like when you're transferring, turkey hunting to out west hunting, like obviously you're quite the hunter. You hunt like all these different species more than I ever have. How do all these hunting experiences translate to from one species to another as far as moving around in the woods and uphill, downhill, the different terrains? Like how do your strategies change and how do they stay the same from hunt to hunt?
Well, I feel like turkey hunting and elk hunting really they're very similar. So they're more run and gun. I keep it run and gun. I've killed 2 bulls and a cow elk running and gunning while elk hunting. But yeah, turkey hunting and elk hunting, I really relate together. walk through the woods, calling, looking for sign. Sometimes we'll sit over water holes and stuff for elk, at least. But yeah, it's kind of relate. I guess you can relate like elk rubs to turkey scratching.
Mm-hmm.
But um, but yeah, that's what I look for also in the big woods here in New York while turkey hunting and stuff like that. Whitetail hunting, I guess you could relate it to bear hunting.
Okay.
Whitetail hunting here, I'm mainly just running and gunning on public land. We have 80 acres of our own, 150 acres, one of our good friends. But yeah, that's more of like run and gun, no baiting for deer here. So I guess is it like Ohio? You can't bait in Ohio.
Ohio baiting is legal.
Oh, okay, you can. All right, gotcha. But yeah, I mainly hunt here during the rut with my saddle. I'm just looking for scrape lines, rub lines, things like that, doe bedding. I'm hunting the downwind side of doe bedding. And then bear hunting. I set up on the oak flats and wait for them to come.
Yeah. So are you doing a lot of summer scouting for these spots, bear, whitetail?
Not really. Not really, no. I get cameras out in August. I do a little bit of scouting, I guess, driving around, looking in fields and stuff like that. But these deer here, there's something different about them. They like the big pine forests next to the oak flats, and you won't really catch many big bucks out in the fields here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've really noticed.
So they're
Except during
bouncing.
the rut. During the rut, they're running
Yes.
across. They don't care about anything.
Yeah, so they're bouncing back and forth between those pines and then the oaks. Where's the bedding
Mhm.
at in that mix? Like what are they bedding in?
Thick pine forests. Thick
Really?
pine forests, spruce, thick spruces, stuff like that. Or at least I hunt.
Yeah. That's like
Yeah,
we don't
marshes, near marshes
we
around
don't
there.
have any of that around where I'm at, but yeah, that's interesting. So, what about the trees that you're hunting in? Are you mostly hunting in tall, straight oak trees or are you trying to get into those pines at all?
I'm trying to get into those pines with a saddle. It's super easy. I pretty much just hang one stick and then climb the rest of the branches up to the top. On public, you can't trim shooting lanes or anything, so it's kind of tough. But when I find a nice oak tree, but here and a lot of spots I hunt, the oak trees are giant. So
Really?
I can barely get my arms around the tree to get my stick around it. But yeah, a mix of the two for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
Mhm.
saddle hunting a lot and that's for that bear and whitetail?
A bear and whitetail, yep.
Okay, so I've never bear hunted, and I've never really been around many people that have. How does that go? Like, first of all, what time of year is that?
Well, when I hunt them, it's early bow season, which is like early September to mid September or late September rather. But typically, I only have probably 10 days to hunt them before we go elk hunting. And yeah, I pick the best oak flat that I put out cameras for them for sure on the oak flats, and I get deer, of course, on them. But when the acorns start dropping, they come around pretty hard. Like I had to hunt 7 pretty much straight days. I probably missed like 3 sits in between, and I was able to kill my bear on like the 7th day that evening, which was pretty awesome. I've only killed 1 bear here. My dad's killed a couple. Yeah, it's mainly just hunting oak flats out of the saddle.
So with whitetail, you've got like early season where they're on like a bedding feeding pattern. You've got the rut where they're moving around doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like bears, are you hunting bear rut, early season bear? Like, are you able to pattern these things at all, or
No, just on feed the oak flats. No, and I just in that particular spot, I had this bear on camera like every 3 days, and I was slipping in there just praying that he'd come walking by. And he eventually did, but it took a while for sure.
yeah? That's interesting. So that's totally
Yeah.
different than whitetail. It's more random. Is that a good word to
Yeah,
use?
more random, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So we've covered turkeys, whitetails, bear. What else are we missing? A lot of the western stuff, right? You said muleys,
Yep.
velvet
A lot
muleys.
of deer.
How's that?
Well, where we were hunting in Arizona is definitely like I would have never thought that you could hunt Arizona like that. Like it was I think we were at like 11,000 feet. It was all green. It was pretty awesome. I would have
Wow.
never when I think of Arizona, I think of like desert, straight desert, but it was the opposite. It was the opposite. It was the high country.
Yeah, that's
And
that. Yeah, it's we were actually just in Arizona here a couple weeks ago, and like flying in, we fly over all the mountains to go into Phoenix, and I'm like, where did all these mountains come from? I always thought it was just like, flat deserts, what I was thinking, but
I
yeah,
thought,
it's
yeah, exactly, yep. But it was like we were in August and it was like 65 during the day. And I was like, when I think of it, I think of like 110 degrees, sweating cactuses everywhere.
yeah, well, I think that is what most of the state is
Yeah, it
sweating
is
cactuses,
for
but
sure.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe up in that high country, it's not the same.
Hmm. No, it's definitely not. There are springs everywhere. But yeah, how we hunted them there, we were just trying to watch them in the mornings, bet them up. But I got pretty lucky on mine. We were actually going. I had a spring turkey tag or fall turkey tag, and we were going to look for turkeys like midday. We had nothing bedded up, and we spotted him 200 yards off the road. Made a quick stalk, got into 65 yards, and double lunged him.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's great. So you're just spot and stalk basically for
yeah. Anything out west, we try and spot and stalk.
okay. So like when you're elk hunting, are you calling at all? Okay, and then have you ever hunted turkeys out west?
I've never hunted turkeys out west. No.
That's one thing I'd like to do. I feel like it would be a lot different in big open country like that, trying to call,
Yeah.
and I don't know exactly how they do it, but
Hmm.
that'd be interesting. So when you're out there, hunting muleys or whatever, do you ever hunt like other side species, like small games? Grouse. I know there's always grouse. Like sometimes we'll shoot some grouse, try to make a
Yeah.
dinner.
In Colorado, we shoot grouse. As long as
Okay.
we're there during the season, we shoot grouse. I shot 2 grouse this year. My dad shot a handful. My brother shot a handful. But yeah, grouse is the main thing. I've never really gotten into duck hunting or like upland bird hunting at all. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'd
I
like
think
to get into it
duck
for
hunting
sure.
is duck hunting is really fun. It's a lot different than traditional hunting. Like I go duck hunting with my dad's business partner, and we've got pieces all over the southern Ohio that we can go to, like Scioto River Flyway, and it's probably one of the best flyways in Ohio, and we'll go down through there, and a lot of the places now he has a lot of like big blinds set up on pontoon boats, or big panel blinds and stuff like that, and that's kind of how I started duck hunting, sitting the blind over a spot, and big decoy spread, and that's really fun. Like if you can get ducks to come in, that can be really fun. Bunch of guys there. It's totally different than other types of hunting though, because you can sit
Yep.
there and cook sausage and talk and do all this stuff,
And
and you only got to be quiet when the birds come in. So it's different. I think it takes a different type of person to duck hunt. I got into more of the, I don't know, the spot and stalk of duck hunting this fall with wood ducks. Actually, just right nearby there's a creek, and I'll go run down the banks of that creek and look for wood ducks and just jump the bank on them.
mhm.
And that's pretty fun. But yeah, it's
I
it's
saw you
definitely.
shot with a bow. That's pretty cool.
Yes, I did. That was one that I've been waiting for a long time. I had been trying to shoot one with a bow for a couple years now. Same thing with the turkey. I have yet to shoot a turkey with a bow. That's one thing I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Which I think I've shot one arrow at a turkey before, and I can't remember. I think I was sitting in my seat in the blind, and I had like set my bow down or whatever, and I've got an old Matthews, and the kickstands don't fit on it. That's how old it is. And so I had
Yeah.
like lay it down, and I turned and like was reaching for a snack or whatever because it was mid morning and we had been sitting there a few hours. And next thing you know, I look up and there's a bird like 3 yards in front of me, in front of the blind. I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh. Yeah.
crap. And so I like throw that snack, and somehow I got my bow up without this bird seeing me. But I'm like twisted around backwards in my chair. Like it's really bad, like a super weird angle. And
Mhm.
I think he got out to 30 yards, and like I totally missed with a fixed blade. Like not even close. I don't know. I blame it on the twisted up angle. But that's like I think that's the only thing that I've shot at and not killed with my bow. But yeah, so I'm not doing that again. Learned a good lesson. But I did
Mhm.
hunt with a bow all turkey season. Have you killed a turkey with a bow?
Yes, my first turkey ever I killed with a bow.
Really? Okay. Was that in New York?
New York, yep. I do all my turkey hunting in New York. I haven't been out of state to turkey hunt yet. Or actually, I have. I did. I killed one in Oklahoma, rather. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Hmm.
you're mostly a bow hunter as far like
Mostly a bow hunter. Yep.
mostly bow hunter. So,
I haven't picked up a rifle this year.
yeah. So, what's your hunting bow setup this year or the past couple
Well,
years?
this year it was a Dart and Sequel 35 ST2. My good buddy's dad, Tyler Terry, who I went mule deer hunting with. I had been out there a month before shooting their ASA state shoot, and he brought me back to his shop. He builds bowstrings, Winterhawk Outfitters, best bowstrings around. They're Toad bowstrings, look them up. But he brought me into his shop. We were shooting a little bit, and he was like, "Here, try this bow." And it was that bow. He's like, I've got it on the shelf. I'm looking to sell it. And I said, okay. So I bring it to the range and I shoot a Vegas game and it's like a 326X. And I'm like, dang, I like that. The bro just shot really, really well. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to buy this from you. And shot all my animals this fall with it. I really like that
Yeah.
bow. Really
Yeah,
like
I've
that
heard
bow.
that's been a really popular bow. I guess Jacob
Hmm.
Slujars, he shot the 660 last year at
Yep.
Lancaster with that bow. I've got a couple buddies that have switched to it, and they say they really like it, which is surprising, for a 35-inch axle-to-axle bow like that. I think I have drawn one back a few times and shot it, but I've never set one up and really tested it hard. But
Yep.
yeah, I hear it's a good bow.
Yeah, it really is. And then for accessories, I guess, if we want me to run through those,
Yeah.
I've got an Excel driver. I was running 15-inch RevX bars, one out the front and one out the back. Tight spot quiver. I was running Black Eagle arrows, X impacts, beast broadheads on the front of those, and an AAE. What is it? Whatever you run. AAE. I forgot it. Uh,
Is it
what do you?
hybrid max? Is it
No, rest. A rest.
a rest? Okay.
Yeah. What you run it, I think. You shoot one.
Not an
What
A
is it?
rest.
Really?
Prophecy, is that
A Prophecy, I think. Yeah, A Prophecy, yeah.
okay? How do
That
you like
brain
that
fart right
rest?
there. I really liked it this year. I've been running the QAD MX2, and I switched to that one, and I really liked it. Really liked it.
Yeah,
Very
that's
consistent.
that's
It's
kind of
got
a
like a how I got explained how it worked is Tyler actually he sold me the rest, but another guy, he explained to me how it worked. It's like a rifle trigger. So like once it's cocked, it's gonna fire either way. So it's like a very fail-proof system, which I really like. Whereas the QAD can fail. But
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I have heard of some of those QADs failing. I've never run one personally, but yeah, that
Really? I thought you had one on your bow. What rest do you run on your target bow?
on my target bow right now I've got a Hamsky hybrid on.
Oh, okay.
Um and then before that I had an old trophy taker drop away. Um
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's I like the Hamsky. I kind of like a more traditional rest, I'd say.
Hmm.
With the trophy taker, like super simple. As far as the drop away goes, like it was very reliable.
Hmm.
And same thing on my hunting bow. And I don't know, when I find something like that, it's hard for me to switch. But I am liking the Hamsky. Now, what about your pin setup? You said you're running a driver sight.
Yep. 5 pin. 5 pin driver. It was my first year using the driver. It's pretty new. I think it was new for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I ran that 5 pin all this year. Barely had to dial it. I had 20 through 60. And yeah, that really worked well. A 10,000 pin. I really like the
Really?
sight. Really like the sight. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. You're keeping it fixed most of the time. Did you go to a tack shoot this summer?
I did not go to a tack shoot this summer, no.
But you have in the past, right?
I have in the past, yeah.
Okay, so I've always gone like fixed pin for my hunting site, like a spot hog. I can't even remember the model of it. Just a fixed 5 pin, and I've always gone with that just for simplicity, durability,
Yeah.
and that's got my 20 through 60 covered. And for what I've done with it, like that's all I ever need. But then like you Western hunting, you got longer shots. Like what's the farthest shot you've ever taken on a elk?
An elk, it was 73 yards. My first elk, it was a cow elk.
Okay, and you had to dial on that, I assume.
I did, yeah. I didn't. I think I had a 3-pin, black gold,
Okay.
20 to 40, and I dialed to 73.
How about hunting release? What are you doing for that?
This year, I was running the Stan Onyx clicker. I really like that release.
Okay. Um,
I killed
I've
all my animals with that.
I've tried it. It's hard for me to do the clicker, and I think
Yeah,
it's just because I've shot like a fingers bow that's got a clicker on it, so I'm used to like whenever I hear a click like that, that means let go. And when you do that
yeah,
with a
yeah. I
handheld
got you.
release, that's not good. But yeah, that's interesting. And I think that you've got a target background too, so having that target behind you going into hunting makes things a lot better. Like taking a 73-yard shot on an elk,
Mhm.
the kill area is pretty big on an elk, so you feel very confident taking a shot like that. But when does your target season kind of end and your hunting season pick up, or do they overlap at all? Like how does that work during the summer?
Uh, ASA ran right into when I went mule deer hunting in August. My last shoot was their state shoot. I think it was probably like 3 weeks before I went mule deer hunting. So I had just enough time to get that dart and bow and set it up. But yeah, it's really going from ASA into hunting season. There's typically a gap. I guess Coleman is pretty close to when I'd hunt, but I haven't been to Coleman yet. I wanted to go this past year. If I did go, it would have been like a week before a week before we went mule deer hunting.
Okay.
2 weeks before. But yeah, like on the back end of hunting season, target indoors, it runs. They collide
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely do. That's like this year I kind of prioritize target over hunting, which
Mhm.
is, sad in one way, but good in the other.
Yeah, I saw you and you're like, it's indoor season. It was like November. I was like, not for me.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, I started really early this year,
You
but
killed the giant this year. That was
yes,
freaking awesome, man.
yeah, early season. That was kind of the
What a
plan.
stud.
Yeah, what actually he's right behind me here. I don't know if you can see it in your frame, but maybe they
Yeah.
can in theirs. But yeah, so I think that the overlap is it can be tough on the back end especially, but on the front end, yeah, it's fun trying to shoot a hunting bow and a target bow at the same time.
Mhm.
Like for me, shooting fixed blades, like I have put in a lot of time in tuning, all that type of stuff. So I like to spend a good bit of time getting my bow set up, kind of overlapping with 3D outdoor season. How did you get into target? Did you start with 3D or indoor?
So the first time I picked up a bow was December 25th. It was Christmas. In 2021. I had just shot my first buck with a rifle. My first deer ever. I was 12 years old. I got into that, and then I was hunting with like a Bear G2 cruiser. The next day I went out and I shot a doe. That was my first deer with a bow ever. And then
And how
I was hooked.
how long was that after you got your bow?
A day after.
Really?
Well, I guess I was given the bow on Christmas, but I had set it up, or a friend of ours had set it up, and I shot it a little bit, but it was mainly December 25th, Christmas Day. I went out and I was just shooting like crazy. We were like, all right, let's go walk up the mountain, on our friend's mountain, and I shot a doe in the
Yeah.
snow. It was pretty awesome. I was hooked. I was like, this is way better than rifle hunting.
Yeah. Wow. I've never heard of anyone picking it up that quick. So
Yeah.
like, Tom, did he ever do any target stuff or bow hunt? Like
My
who?
dad My dad, he never did any target stuff, but he had hunted for probably 6 years prior to me starting to hunt in New York. You can't hunt until you're 12,
Really?
which out west that's like unheard of. In Texas, you can hunt when you're like 3, right? Something like that. But yeah, I had to wait a while. I wanted to get into it, but I had to wait a while. I had like a little, I think it was called like a Vortex compound bow, no sight on it. I was just like shooting. aiming with my head down the shaft, and that probably helped a lot. But I really like to say that I got into bow hunting when I got that bow for sure.
Yeah. So when you got that bow, December 25th, went out, shoot your first deer. Were you like, did you start going to indoor stuff after that, or did you pick it up the next summer, do 3D?
No, I just shot that thing all through the winter, and I just kept watching videos, learning, playing around with stuff. I was very new to it, and then that summer I did my first ever shoot, and that was outdoor 50-meter shoot. And then I did like a local 3D shoot around here. I think we did tack that year too. And I really got hooked that year. Next year came around, I shot I think a doe, and then and then 2023 is the first time I ever went elk hunting with my dad and my brother, and that's when I killed. Or no, 2024. 2023 we didn't kill anything. 2024 I killed my first elk.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Yeah.
and how old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay. So we're the same age. I figured we were close. We
Yeah.
shot in the same class.
Yep. I never asked you that. I always wondered that though.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're kind of self-taught,
I guess you can say self-taught target archer. My dad, he kind of guided me during hunting, but like we were both very novice, or he was very novice, and he never really dug down into it. And then I got hooked, and I was like, anything I get into, I want to be the best at. So I was
Yeah.
like, I got to study this, and I got to be the best I can possibly be, not only for me, but for like the animal that I'm hunting. And I'm a
Yeah.
very competitive person, so I was like, I got to get into target archery.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive because I've seen you lay down some pretty crazy scores, and I always figured you had some sort of coach, but doing that without,
No,
any
I've
formal
never had
coaching,
a coach. Never had a coach.
yeah, that's pretty impressive. So, like last year, we ran into each other at Lancaster, which is probably only a few hours from you, right? Or I guess
That
it's
was
on the other side of the
yeah.
state.
It's like 7.5 hours away. It's on the opposite side of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's far south.
Okay, and then Vegas, we saw each other at Vegas too, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, like you're hitting the big indoor shoots now. Like what are your goals as far as competition this coming year?
Goals are just to do well. Last year I succeeded in what I wanted to achieve, but this year I want to win, as many of us do on the line, right? But last year in Lancaster, yeah, I scored like 25 points higher qualifying than I did the year prior. The year prior was my first for real indoor shoot. That was probably like my second shoot ever. So this is gonna be my third year at Lancaster, and I'm hoping to do better than I did last year. I made it to the eliminations, but got kicked out by the second place finisher. So I was pretty happy about that. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. The eliminations can be pretty brutal.
oh for sure. I was shaking. I've never been under that like kind of pressure, and to see your body, how it reacts to that kind of pressure that I put on myself, and that I guess you probably put on yourself and a lot of other people put on themselves. But yeah, in Vegas, target panic was real. I went into it and I was like, I'm gonna try punching this time. And the first day I went out, it was I think it was 299 with like 19 X's, not very good. I almost shot a 300. I was so close to it. And then the next 2 days just boop, 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 right down. And but I watched you shoot a 300 or two of them, right? Was it two?
I shot one 300. It was
300?
yeah, I think
Gotcha.
300 was the second day. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I remember you had said that I don't know if we were at Lancaster or Vegas, but you'd said that you don't really have any shops around you to practice. Like, do most of your practicing at home?
Yeah. The closest shop to us is like 45, 50 minutes away. And so I shoot from our garage. I was shooting from our garage outside, but now it's from our garage outside to our workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a little bit better. Wind doesn't affect the arrow as much. It's only got like 5 yards being outside. But yeah, I also shoot at a gym near us that our buddy lets me shoot at, but it's like 25 minutes away. So it's kind of tough to get to that. It's not like it's right in my backyard and I can just walk out to it whenever I want.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have a bow press there or anything, so I can't like tune my bow while I'm there really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough that, in where I live in Ohio, there's several bow shops within an hour of me. So that's really nice. Multiple ranges to go to. I don't know if it's just the population density of bow hunters is more or what, but um that's
They
kind of
definitely are.
yeah, that's kind of how I am. I know that Pennsylvania is kind of the same way. But yeah, that's interesting. But self-made bow hunter and target archer, that's pretty impressive, I
Yeah.
think. Where were you getting a lot of your info on social media? Like, how do you find reliable sources out there? I know there's a lot of.
Well, at first, I don't really want to name names, but like I didn't have the most reliable sources, and I learned things that it was good technique, but not my technique. And I just accumulated from a lot of different people. John Dudley being one of them, which I know you kind of take your take some of his stuff, if
Yeah.
I'm correct, right? And yeah, I just took different things from different people, put them together, and yeah, that's how I became who I am today. But I'm really starting to get into the shot IQ, Joel Turner's thing.
Mhm.
I talked to him at Vegas a lot because I had crazy target panic. So I was chatting it up with him. And then this year, I kind of switched my bow around. I'm going super light. I don't have any weight on my stabilizers right now. I'm just letting that pin like dance like 8 ring to 8 ring as fast as it possibly can. Because what he says is as long as you execute a good surprise shot and you have your pin going as fast as it possibly can, it's gonna leave the center as fast as it comes back to the center. So I'm kind of like trying to take things from him and a couple other people on how I should set up my bow this year. Because last year I had a ton of target panic, and most all tournaments I was in, I had pretty good amount of target panic.
Yeah, I actually, I think it's my first year at Lancaster. Saw Joel Turner walking by. Hey, Joel. I was talking to him for maybe 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes of talking with him, my bow setup totally changed.
Mhm.
Just everything I thought about was totally different for the better. He just gave some really good fundamentals, I think, as far as what to think about when you're shooting, and especially bow setup. Like you're talking about shooting a really lightweight setup. My bow is an old Apex 8. It was a borrowed bow, actually, is what I took to Lancaster the first year. Really old, really heavy, and I had a bunch of stabilizer weight on there, and it was way too heavy for me. And then,
Mm.
he explained visual proprioception, and I'm like, mind blown, that makes perfect sense. So then I switched to lighter setup, and that's kind of what got me started into the whole mental game was just that one 5-minute conversation with him, actually. And then I
Yep.
started doing a lot
I
more
had a
research.
similar thing. I had a similar thing this year in Vegas. I had never talked to a coach before at all. So it like really blew my mind to like talk to him for sure. And then I did his course shortly after that, and that helped a lot, but it still didn't really solve my target panic because I needed to be loud in my head, set up my bow right, and things like that. But yeah, this hunting season, I was shooting very well, all controlled shots. And yeah,
Are
I'm hoping
you
to do that this target season.
are you practicing? What's your practice look like during bow hunting season?
During bow hunting season, depending on when I'm back here for whitetail in New York, it's a little bit slower because it's like the whitetail rut and it's like a lot of all day sits and stuff like that. Getting ready to go out west, I'm like every day, 2 hours a day, like shooting the max yardage I possibly can, 130 yards sometimes. But yeah, that's that. And then later in the year, October, November, like I said, it slows down a little bit, but we typically try to get out to our lease in Oklahoma like we did this year. And so I really ramp it up and I shoot probably 40 arrows a day, getting ready for that, like a week out from it.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to stay in bow shape, because it's very easy to get out of it for sure.
Absolutely. Yes, I know that kind of the last break that I took from archery that was more than a week long was during whitetail season last year in Ohio. And I mean, I probably didn't shoot for 4 weeks maybe.
Mm.
And it was like getting back into it. It was a little bit of a learning curve again. I think for me, it was a good, like, hard reset too, because I lost some of the bad habits that I had picked up. Yeah, it's always good to stay in bow shape, especially during season, I think. But going into target season, what's your target setup this year for indoor?
It's gonna be a Concept X37. I ran a Darton all year, and then I have another Darton Sequel 35 ST2, and I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I can do whatever I want and whatever bow shoots very well. I set one up back in probably late November, and I wasn't a fan of it for indoor, and so I had this Concept X37 that I started shooting uh late last year, right after Vegas, and I really liked it. And then I have another one that I shot for 3D, which is just a little bit heavier poundage, and so I'm shooting that 60-pound Concept X37.
Sweet. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm running for indoor this year.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, so kind of a lot to look forward to. So what's your next big shoot? Is that Lancaster coming up?
Yeah, I'd say big shoot. I have a shoot, I think this Thursday, money shoot, hour and a half away.
Yep. Yeah,
But
there's
yeah, they around here, my buddy, he pretty much sends them to me. He sends me like all like the local shoots, somewhat local, I guess, within 3-4 hours away, and we try to hit up those
yeah.
between the big shoots like Lancaster, Vegas, and stuff like that.
Yes, I'm the same way. Normally, I like to go to one that they call the Hangover Shoot. It is January 1st, the morning, after New Year's. And
Hmm.
so, like last year we went to that and it's really fun. There's a lot of guys there, just a money shoot, but yeah, I like hitting stuff like that. Just trying to hit. Like I say, for me there's a lot of bow shops around. So like if I really wanted, I could go to like league nights probably 4 out of the 5 weeknights every week, and then on the weekend there's always a big shoot going on the weekend. So like, yeah, there's a lot of archery around me. For indoors, I only hit 2 a week. I try to hit 2 a week if I can. The rest of the nights I just work on practice. Like I don't know if I could compete 4 nights a week. I think that I need more practice time in between. But it's nice. We're fortunate here in Ohio. After hearing what it's like out there for you guys, but.
Yeah, I have no league nights that I attend around here. There's one south of here that's like probably 2 hours away, and nobody really shoots in my division. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I really just have those money shoots on the weekends sometimes every like 2 weeks,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is
Yeah.
which is tough, but it's nice to be able to like have time in between. I wish there were more though, because I'd be able to go from one, set up my bow differently, go to another, change it here and there until those shoots, until like Lancaster and Vegas. But I just try to put myself under pressure at home.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Think about things. This is the last arrow to win like Vegas or something. Or I do like a bunch of push-ups, or like run to the target and run back, and like try to get my heart rate up and that pin moving sporadically,
Hmm.
but you can't really replicate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
so. The biggest thing for me is I think that we all experience some sort of physical change when you're under pressure. Maybe your palms
Yeah.
are sweaty, your muscles are a little bit twitchy, whatever it is. But for me, I think the biggest part that affects my scores when I'm under pressure is not the physical part, but more the mental part. I think that the
Mm.
stress that I put on myself, kind of like we were talking earlier, that's what gets me and gets a lot of people. And I think that I handle it pretty well, but I think that mental training is just as important as the physical.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, my mental training has to improve, because like I get into like a situation, and it's like my head's spinning.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
just need to say the right things at the right time, like Joel says. And but yeah, I really need to get into my head more, control my head more, and not just have my conscious mind going like, punch it, it's in the middle, it's in the middle, and then like punching my hinge and it being a 9.
yeah, yeah. So you're running a hinge for target.
Last year, I bounced in between a lot of releases. I was running a hinge for Lancaster, button for Vegas, and then a hinge for a couple other shoots around here. I didn't do a ton of indoor shoots. Two big ones were Vegas and Lancaster. That's it. And then a couple of shoots around here. But I really want to do a lot more shoots that I think I can
This summer,
every 2 weeks or
this
so
winter.
this winter.
Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah.
right now I'm running a hinge. It's the UV Hinge 1. I really like that one because it can't move, like the click can't move from where the fire moon is.
Yeah.
And I like that so far, but I might switch it up.
What do you like about a hinge versus a thumb? Like, give me a compare contrast there. Like, what makes you want to switch from one to the next?
Well, if I'm punching, I'm going button all the way, and that's what I did in Vegas, and it didn't work. It worked the first day. I was able to control the nerves a little bit. On that 1-9 I had, just nothing felt right. And if I did everything right, then a lot of them would be in the middle, but not all of them. And I really want all of them in the middle. So when I run a hinge, I try to shoot a surprise shot in Lancaster. I was punching it pretty badly. But this year I'm definitely gonna shoot definitely probably gonna shoot I'm probably gonna shoot a hinge for Lancaster and just do what Joel says, single digit manipulation um to the trigger, not really like pulling. I don't really like pulling for some reason. It just doesn't work for me right now. I know you and a couple other people they like to pull hard on a bow. I think you told me that in Vegas. You were like, yeah, just pull on that bow and try to get it to sit a little bit better.
I
Because I
think
was like, go ahead.
I think that pulling on the bow does a couple different things. One, when you pull on a bow, I think it eliminates a lot of factors like torque. And if like
Mhm.
you're plucking the string or things like that, I think it cleans up a lot of stuff the harder you pull. Now, there's kind of a point where when you don't pull hard enough, your pin's gonna be shaky. Pull a little bit more, your pin's gonna get steady. Pull too hard, and it's gonna get shaky again.
Yeah.
And I think that pulling is more of a mental thing for me. Like it keeps something
Me too. Me too, yeah.
like it just helps my mind stay occupied on what I'm doing. I think that the pull really helps with that, along with cleaning up those things like plucking the string and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to pulling. I think that if you have good form, that pulling is going to be more effective.
Yeah.
There's some people that lean way far back when they're shooting and have like high shoulders and stuff like that, and there's where pulling is probably not going to be as effective for them.
Mhm.
But that's kind of my opinion there.
Yep. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
I don't really pull on the bow very hard. I like a hard back wall, but pulling on the bow for me, I guess it doesn't help me that much.
yeah,
Which I guess that's how you set up your bow too, and I definitely have to play with a couple things this year for sure. But yeah, I guess that's really where I never got the coaching. I took a lot from a lot of different people, so like I didn't really know what to do.
yeah. Kind of a conglomeration. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you haven't done too bad. I can tell you that
I haven't
much.
done too bad, but I know I can do better. That's why I kind of go to trying to do something to my form and my execution definitely this year to improve it.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving forward to Lancaster, what are you going to be working on over these next few weeks? Wrapping up bow season. I hear you got next few days of hunting left. But after that, what are your
Okay.
plans?
Shooting, shooting, shooting. I need to get into bow shape. I've been shooting a lot, like I said earlier, past couple of days, and I'm just trying to dial in my setup, trying to get a perfect execution every single time, which is tough for me because I really got to get loud in my head, even when I'm by myself. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, my shot execution for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
Mhm.
I think that this has been a great episode. Great talking about all the stuff that you guys do. At some point, we're gonna have to get Tom on here and your
Oh
brother
yeah,
too.
definitely.
But yeah, it's been a great episode. But yeah, this great opportunity, great conversation. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, Will.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. It was
Yeah, we
great
will. We'll see you on the next episode.
for sure.